Okay. Both Lincoln and Kennedy were particularly concerned with civil rights and made their views strongly known.
Well, yes, that's obviously true. Oh, it just now occurred to me that maybe they're thinking of a different Kennedy.
Oh, is there another one? How many Kennedys are there?
72, and they keep on cloning them. That's a conspiracy theory I just made up.
Is that in here?
No. Hey, you know what? Let me get a pen. This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Squarespace. Head on over to squarespace.com/rogue. Spell it right, R-O-G-U-E. Give it a free trial. Get 10% off when you use promo code ROGUE at checkout. We've talked about, what do they call them? Spurious correlations.
That's a good way to put it.
Things that don't belong together but seem to.
I think I'm going to start using that in conversations where someone says something ridiculous. Spurious correlation.
Have you seen the website, spuriouscorrelations.com?
That's real?
Oh my God. U.S. spending on science, space, and technology correlates with suicides by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation. The number of people who drowned by falling into a pool correlates with films Nicolas Cage appeared in. The divorce rate in Maine correlates with the per capita consumption of margarine.
So this is a whole website illustrating correlation is not causation.
Yeah, but I have what appear to be settled facts and unsettled facts, definitely true, uncertain, and totally false. Why don't you pick one from the hat and we'll see if it is. By the way, we should point out that we're talking about John F. Kennedy Jr. and Lincoln, two people who were assassinated.
That hat contains similarities between these two presidents. These comparisons have been circulated since the 1960s.
Both assassins, John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, were born in '39 and were known by their three names, composed of 15 letters.
Okay, I think there's a bias on that one. I think that whenever somebody is an assassin, we add a middle name, because if it's John Smith, there's a bunch of John Smiths out there that are gonna be all like, God damn it, not again.
One of these days, I'm gonna check the news and it's gonna say Brian Allen Brushwood, and I'm gonna be like, oh, he killed somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about this. Brian's a serial killer.
We're gonna buy an election with Justin Robert Young of the Politics podcast. I do suppose that, yes, they used the three names, but I think that's a journalism bias, and yes, they happen to have the same number of letters, but I guess that's true.
Both presidents were elected to Congress in '46.
Oh, okay, that one, I assume that's gonna be true. Both were elected to the presidency in '60. One was 1860, one was 1960. Both were elected to Congress in '46. But again, that tracks, right?
Yeah, because you're not matching up 100 years, right?
What would be wild is if it's like, both presidents were only elected in prime number years. Like, now we're talking.
It was all even numbers as well. Okay, let's see.
Oh, here's a dumb one. Both had 7 letters in their last names. Is that the one you got? Actually, that was a cool coincidence.
Brian. Something's going on here. Did you feel that? The tingle on your scalp?
When you're trying to be skeptical and accidentally confirm something.
Is this the Mandela effect?
That guy died in prison.
Booth ran from a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater.
That one, not true.
What?
It is beautiful symmetry on there. It says Booth did run from Ford's Theater, you know, the place where he assassinated the president, but he was caught in a barn in Virginia, not a warehouse. Although I guess if you want to squint, a barn could be kind of like a warehouse, which is sort of why these things work, because they sound true-ish.
The Polish word for barn is skazik, which means horse warehouse.
Starzec.
Well, now we're undoing our own point.
I made that up.
Oh, but now you can't take it back.
Starzec.
He won't remember the part where you say that you meant it, that you made it up.
I don't know Polish.
Okay.
But
all right.
horse warehouse, that seems like it would be a thing. Anyway.
That is one of those things when I get into a dispute with my significant other, she'll say something and I'll say, we must be very careful about what we say because we'll remember that it was said, but we won't remember that we both decided it wasn't true.
Coney 2012, not that one. Okay.
Oh my God! That is my favorite obscure reference.
Every now and then I just find it in my pocket with like some candy, like a Werther's and a nickel. It's like, oh, there's that one.
You know, that's part of the reason that I have that piece of art in the green room is because it's a photo from South Congress, and I always know what year it was taken because there's a Coney 2012.
Like a sticker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, this is, I don't know how I feel about this. The assassins were both Southerners.
Yeah. I mean, flip a coin, right? I mean, find that one.
50-50 chance.
Here's another dumb one. Both people married in their 30s to women who were in their 20s.
What?
See,
Men like younger women?
this is one of those things that in argumentation they call shotgunning. You just keep hitting with facts, and it doesn't matter how good or bad the facts are.
You actually see a lot of modern current political commentators doing that because they can speak fast and accurately, and they're saying things that are ostensibly true, but they aren't really backing up their argument. They're just saying it quickly, clearly, and with authority, and it feels like you should believe it.
I don't know if I've shared this before, but when I first started doing magic, there was a radio show in the afternoon that I was on, and there was another radio show afterward. And that person would call in, and he would just rapid fire do these citations all the time. And I remember thinking, well, I don't know how to disagree with any of that. This guy clearly can name a lot of books, so it must be true. That person, Alex Jones.
Oh, do we have stories?
Yep.
Both presidents were shot in the head on a Friday.
This is weak. This is a weak
This is
one.
weak.
Okay. And we talk about this in the Scam Sasquatch of the Supernatural lecture, where there's a tendency to want to believe that a gigantic pile of spurious correlations somehow is more impressive than one indisputable fact. And all of these, I don't know, just giving a whole bunch of bad evidence doesn't make it a thing true.
Both of the president's successors were named Johnson and born in 08.
What?
Yeah.
That is true. Both of the president's successors were named Johnson. Lincoln was succeeded by Andrew Johnson, and Kennedy was succeeded by Lyndon Baines Johnson. Whatever, you got to be born some year. You might as well say, and had zip codes that ended in 03. It's like, just keep looking until you find a match.
Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who told him not to go to Ford's Theater. Kennedy had a secretary named Evelyn Lincoln, and she warned him not to go to Dallas.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
False. False.
False.
False. Lincoln's secretaries were John G. Nicolay and John M. Hay. But of course, when you go through a whole bunch of these and you're shotgunning, it's very easy to be all like, well, that one must be true too, because I sure as shit ain't gonna go to the library.
And it's kind of like cold reading when you're naming off all of those. People are going to latch on to the rapid fire ones that hit.
Yeah.
And there are going to be a lot of other ones that just kind of bounce off and fall to the floor. And everyone's going to ignore them because you've already moved on to 3 that are actually, oh, that's compelling. Say that one again.
Cold reading is a really good way to put it, because what you're gonna remember is, I remember the person talking for 20 minutes straight, and I just remember constantly going, oh, oh, and you will not remember the misses,
Yes.
only the hits.
Yeah. So that's all we got in the hat.
Okay, well then let's talk about a little bit of the Streisand effect, because the only reason I know about this is because one of my heroes, Martin Gardner, wrote about this phenomenon and pointed out a bunch of the untrue claims in Scientific American. But as we've learned, you don't remember the part where they say, and that's false. You just remember it was in Scientific American.
Oh.
I read this.
Right. The reason I know about it is because my friend, Bill Gates, sent me an email and said if I forward it, I'm gonna get $100.
Wow, you got shortchanged, because when you sent it to me, I got 100 shares of stock.
What?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so what's the lesson that we need to learn here?
Okay, so this is kind of like when we were doing Bloody Mary, in my opinion. Because when you're looking at Bloody Mary, your face wants to find patterns.
Out of the noise. And when the lights are low enough and everything's scattered and it's difficult to see, your brain says, well, it must be a face, and it makes up a face that may not be your own.
Humans love finding patterns, and not just visually, with information as well, so that they can assimilate it into something that makes sense.
And if somebody rewrote all of this, but with things that Lincoln and Kennedy had nothing to do with each other, you would not hold on to that, because that's not a very interesting thing. You would not get a dopamine hit every time one of them was read.
How can a rogue protect themselves from falling prey to something sensational like this?
I'd hate to start with something so simple, but it's like, find other sources. There's some part of the audience right now that's gonna roll their eyes when I say, go to Snopes. And if it's not political, my guess is they know whether or not teeth dissolve in Coke, or whether or not Lysol was used for abortions. Look it up, it's weird. But the point is, cite multiple sources and figure out who else cites those sources, but also don't fall for that wonderful, blissful feeling of the aha moments again and again and again, because it's that dopamine that causes everything from the hot hand fallacy with craps or in basketball to stuff like this.
It's actually something that I talk about in Killer Candy, because the lead character is skeptic.
Where is that book available?
Available on Amazon, written by Jason Murphy. The lead character is skeptic, and he's going on ghost hunts, and then he's super aware of the tingling feeling you get when, oh, that might actually be something. I discovered something. It's that feeling of this discovery of something you're not supposed to know, weird mysteries, and you want to give yourself over to it because it feels like a ride.
The philosopher Karl Popper put it best, and I really internalized this. A whole bunch of evidence for a thing, even if it's a bunch of weak evidence, does not get to like a magical threshold where the thing becomes true. And the example given is all over Europe. You went and you saw a swan, they were always white. So you theorize all swans must be white. It only takes one black swan to prove you wrong. And that's what you should be looking for, not a giant mountain of just so stories of linking things together. Karl Popper, one of the originals.
Was he in Blues Traveler?
I need a conspiracy theory. What's the conspiracy theory? Go.
Corn is blue.
Corn is blue. Actually, corn is blue.
No, corn is blue.
No, oh, you mean emotionally sad. Now we just need, what, some photographs? We need some videos. We need a platform to get the word out. Corn is very sad.
Corn is blue.
Wait, I feel like we're having some pushback on the messaging here, but that's fine. The important part is that we gotta go to squarespace.com/rogue, R-O-G-U-E, spell it right. We gotta give it a free trial, and then we have to get our message out to the world. They have distributed hosting, so you can become an international overnight sensation. Soon, the whole world will know how blue and or sad corn is.
Blue corn.
And do you know why we're gonna use Squarespace?
Why?
Because corn don't know how to use Squarespace. Only humans find it fast, easy, reliable. Actually, I shouldn't say that. There's probably some smart chimps or a dolphin.
If you're a smart dog, please go to squarespace.com/rogue.
They have those award-winning templates. They allow you to get your message out to the world. They do make it fast, easy, reliable with 99.99% uptime. They do have 24/7 support. Although I don't know how a dog would explain. I feel like this might be the one. This might be the first one that Squarespace says, we don't know what you're doing. we need you to explain that we host websites.
Blue card!
Squarespace.com/rogue, spell it right, R-O-G-U-E. They do websites. We'll see how far we can take this.
Modern Rogue is supported in part by viewers like you at patreon.com/modernrogue. In the description, you can find all of our credits and additional ways to support the show.
Lee Harvey Oswald, John Wilkes Booth, John Wayne Gacy, Ted Theodore Logan, Orenthal James Simpson.
All of this, it changes after. What do you say about Joseph Robinette Biden?
Oh my God.